Welcome, Inspired Tribe. How's it going? Welcome to the Inspired Livestream right here on the Inspired channel. I'm Jean Nolan, and you would expect me to say, and this is Kristin Nolan. She is not with us today. She's out and about on a mission, on a beautiful mission. But I hope you're still going to enjoy this Inspired Tribe. It is Monday, March 14th, 2022. We're healthy, we're wealthy, we're whole, and we're free. That's been the mantra for, I think, 248 live streams now and then some, which it's a beautiful thing. So let me welcome you all, new Tribesters, experienced Tribesters, original Tribesters. I haven't said this in a while, but really, when we say the word tribe, it isn't a exclusive community that is somehow has some boundaries. Everyone's welcome here. You don't have to sign up for it. You don't have to pay any dues. None of that. You just show up and you're part of this family. And this family is about inspiration, authenticity, truth, expansion, freedom, love, community, joy, and really truly living up to our full potential. That's why we're here. So yeah, let me welcome you again. Let me jump through the live chat here while people jump on and see who's already here. Hey, Jamie, how's it going? Cole is here. Otakar is here. Michael is here. The Narcissistic Abuse Hotline. Wow. Ramsey's here. Irina is here. I was just saying wow at the name. Welcome, by the way. Black Sky's here. Good to see you. Kato, Miss Patty, good to see you. Bright Young Lights is here. Evie is here. Jane is here. Donna, welcome. Joseph, Marion. Then we have Vibeke Medini. Ellen is here. Barbara, Dan, Alan, Jen, Picnicky, Ann, Angel, Kim, Pamela, Jack, Carmen, Julie. Welcome, everyone. Sheila, Robin. So good to see you all. Steve and everyone else, thank you for being here with us. And what we're talking about today, we don't really talk about very often. We don't really talk about this perspective of things very often, and it's for a particular reason. What we're going to dive into requires a certain level of maturity. It just requires a certain level of having shown up for a while for yourself in deep meditation, in a spiritual way, in true inner development. If this is not the case, this perspective might, rub people the wrong way, or, which is even worse, it might cause people to get the wrong idea. And so it is with the utmost respect and a necessary level of responsibility that I share this perspective, because it has value and importance, but it can even be destructive to look at things that way. That's just as a disclaimer. The second disclaimer for this is that no human suffering, no human pain, no human experience shall ever be belittled or diminished in any way, right? This is always, always, always the case. While we're having these human experiences, these experiences are real. They feel very real to us. We have a real physical, emotional experience. So while we're on this journey, it all feels very, very real to us. But the perspective that we're taking today has multiple reasons why we're taking it. And one is that things have become really, really, really serious on Earth. And things have gotten painful in a lot of ways. Things have gotten darker in a lot of ways over the past years. And as we find ourselves in this third world war, which you're really truly in, and I know people don't want to hear that, but we're in it. Warfare today is very different in many ways from warfare as it has been. We have mass psychological warfare. We have mass cyber warfare. We have also kinetic, so real life shooting warfare that's happening. So this is just happening. And sometimes we need to remind ourselves that this experience is about the experience, and that fun is a part of it, that humor is a part of it, that joy is a part of it. I find myself observing A lot of people that used to be humorous, at least I knew them to be humorous, they don't seem to appreciate any jokes anymore. Even a little bit of sarcasm sometimes, which, it's not a bad thing if it makes us laugh, if it makes us hold our bellies and enjoy things a little more. And sometimes the way to get there is to go first a little deeper. So the title today is Front Row Seats for the Cosmic Drama. But what does that mean, cosmic drama? See, this is a perspective that I've gained over going deep many, many years, studying with others, having had the great honor to study with other teachers and still studying with other teachers, that this human experience is a cosmic drama. And what that means is that in the big scheme of things, it is like a play, it is like a theater play. We all have a role in this theater play, right? I mean, we've been talking about this in many different ways. But when it's all said and done, when we leave here, when we go into another realm, this experience will be as real as a dream. And it will be even less consequential than a dream in many ways. What I'm saying is that it is a big illusion. My people have been saying, scientists have been saying this lately. A lot of scientists have been saying it's a simulation, it's a computer program, it is an artificial program. And maybe they're just using language that suits their perspective, that suits their view of the world. But in other words, you could also say it is the great Maya. It's the great illusion. It is not what we and who we really are. And this, I find through many experiences to be very, very true. I find that this physical experience isn't really who I am, right? And you would probably find the same way. Because when we close our eyes and when our body, calms down and when nothing moves anymore, we still are. And when we are sleeping, we still are oftentimes very active. So we are much more than this vessel that we inhabit. And if this vessel that we inhabit is born and grows and eventually perishes and dies, but we do not, then this vessel, per definition, is not really real, right? It is a temporary housing, but we, the ones who inhabit it, we are real. We are eternal. And so we enter this cosmic play, this great drama, and we come to this earth and we pick these, and this is a little bit of a continuation of last week's last live stream, and we pick the circumstances and we come for certain experiences. And if we have been doing this long enough, at some point, we manage to transcend the drama in many ways because we become self-actualized again, self-realized again. We remember this. We remember that it is a play. And what that does is, it's like it almost sucks you out of this human nature drama between jealousy and anger and violence and hatred and all these things that are not natural to our souls, that are not natural to the higher self being, that are just human nature. And it sucks one out of it. And if you stay out of it long enough, you realize this. And you see the conversations that are unfolding in front of you as just that, as a part of a play. It doesn't mean you don't take people seriously. It doesn't mean you don't bring your best. It doesn't mean you don't apply yourself fully. What it means is that you have, you can call it God realization. You can call it self-actualization. There's many terms to call it, but it's really beyond words. It is an understanding that you are way before this and way after this. And as a matter of fact, you are to the sides of this and up, and beneath and below and above and everywhere of this experience. You are all of it. And why I put a disclaimer in front of this is because if you do not really actualize this, realize this in your life as an experience, as a full knowing, as a knowing that comes from true meditative, deep praying experience, then you just might say that because it's all a game or a play, because it's not really real, Your actions don't matter. Your intentions don't matter. How you conduct yourself doesn't matter. Your spiritual practices don't matter. All of these things don't matter. I would say it's quite the opposite. You bring, if you truly realize this, you bring even more significance to every relationship that you have. Because when you bring your self actualized self to this relationship, to the communication, to the conversation, it can be felt. There's something deeper that can be felt by the other person. And the other person might wake up from the slumber as well, just as you have before. And the slumber is not just being asleep to the political landscape or to the control landscape. It is being asleep to your own divinity, to your own grandness, which again transcends your physical experience a lot. And in this cosmic drama, um, when you do this long enough, you realize, and here's one of my favorite quotes, I keep saying it: before enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood and carry water. Now, the unenlightened, and I don't want to categorize, but the unenlightened, they chop wood and carry water because they believe that this will sustain them and this is how they will survive. And on one level, that is true. Whereas the enlightened soul chops wood and carries water because the enlightened soul has realized that that is part of the role it plays in this cosmic eternal drama. So that's why, if you study the great gurus of India, in many ways, uh, a country, a huge, magnificent country that in many ways hasn't lost its spiritual connection the way a lot of the rest of the world has. And so these gurus, a lot of times, will appear in everyday life very, very mundane and normal. And they will sometimes do mundane tasks, and they will sometimes, and even very enlightened teachers will sometimes, have very mundane everyday jobs, an office job, or as a government employee, or something very, very straightforward, which might not really go together. But you see, in this self actualization journey, you realize that you have duties on different levels. And there are duties in this 3D physical world. If we don't do these things don't get done. If these things don't get done, a lot of people might begin to suffer, right? If only for 2-3 weeks the garbage truck doesn't show up and pick up the garbage, if you live in an urban area, in a neighborhood, the consequences begin to be very real and very damaging, like very quick. And that's just one role in this cosmic play, right? So this is a really a bird's eye view, but it also allows us to become a little humorous again. It also allows us to see that the suffering that we endure in this physical presence isn't real, in terms of it doesn't last, right? I know the pain you feel is real, but if you could step out of it, especially out of the emotional pain, you realize that it's really a product of your imagination. It's a product of your expectations. It's a product of your physical mindset, not a real product. So much of the suffering that we experience happens between our ears. It happens because of thought processes and belief systems that build on each other. And eventually, something breaks, a dam breaks, or something snaps, and all of a sudden you're in a lot of pain when that pain really isn't real. It's part of the cosmic illusion. And our greatest challenge, maybe it's not a challenge, our greatest duty, our greatest intention before we come here is to eventually outgrow this cycle of reincarnation, this cycle of being bound to this cycle to learn, where you transcend this cosmic drama and become self-actualized again, become connected with the all that is light divine again, which then truly equates real freedom. And when that happens, there's a lot of liberty in your thoughts, in how you view things. and you go and you look at what is happening in the world, and you see it with more ease, and you see it with more flow, not because you belittle people or their problems, but because you realize it's not really real. It's a split second in the eternal play, and that takes a lot of pressure off. It also takes a lot of fear away: fear of death, fear of pain, fear of suffering, fear of loss, all these things, which in itself are illusions again, because they do not really exist. You cannot lose what you never had, and that which you truly are can never be lost, you see? Let me repeat this. You cannot lose what you never had, and that which you are can never be lost. So that in itself is a full circle moment where you realize that you cannot never lose yourself. Your true self will exist as part of the all that is forever. And especially in times like we're living in, where in this cosmic drama, one thing after the other happens sometimes simultaneously and in such a rapid fire way that we often can't even catch our breath before the next thing comes along. That might be true for your life personally, individually, but it's definitely true for our collective experience at this time. And it helps us to slow down. It helps us to calm down. It helps us to step back. It helps us to actually look at this and say, you know what? It is a play. And in this play, there's good and there's bad and there's love and there's hatred, and there's freedom and there's love and there's dark and there's light and all these things. But when it's all said and done, it all belongs together. It is all made of the same substance, expressing itself differently. And this is extremely liberating. But it cannot happen as a mental concept in your head where you just understand this mentally and you can comprehend this concept. It is something that must be felt and experienced. It is something that must be actualized and realized. And as we always say, we simply don't know another way other than going within and really connecting with the Creator, with all that is light, really surrendering to that. And then being responsible with your everyday duties, with the mundane, what you might call mundane duties also. Because as a self-actualized, as a connected being, you bring that divine consciousness to everything you do. I mean, I felt growing up that, sweeping the floor or mowing the lawn, or these things are, boring, time-consuming, mundane things. But when you are in this connected, actualized state, every little action can become divinely inspired, and you never really lose the feeling of having the Creator with you. And then this cosmic play begins to play out very differently. And I believe that a good majority of the souls that incarnated here at this time came to do this. They came to do exactly this, to become this again, but also to represent and show this to all the others, so we can actually transcend these cycles that we're in, because we are in our own individual karmic cycle, but we're also in this grand karmic cycle, and we keep repeating these things. These wars and economic downturns and human suffering and sickness, all these things repeat in our cycles, but they repeat because of an energetic pattern. They don't repeat because it's written in stone, because it has to be that way. They repeat because of energetic patterns. And so you, me, all of us, I believe we really want to rewrite this cosmic drama, and maybe for the first time transcend these things without a cataclysm, without a huge flood or major war or the nuclear destruction, these things, right? I think for the first time we have the opportunity, as consciousness remembering itself, expressing itself, to do it differently. And to do it differently, what we need is ease. What we need is flow. What we need is joy. What we need is this understanding of who we really are, which helps us enjoy life more, and helps us help others better. And so you can't just take the seriousness out of it by saying this doesn't matter. Human suffering doesn't matter. It is not real. When you're the one experiencing it, it is very real. But this compassion that we have for each other, if it's driven by a desire to pity someone or view them as a victim, we really buy into this play here. Whereas we could also empower someone by helping them remember that they are not a victim, but they are also a powerful part of this consciousness. So these are deep thoughts. These are, for me, thoughts that I've been contemplating all my life. Before, more unconscious of the divine connection. Now, very conscious of the divine connection, and with a deep understanding that unless I bring this to everything I do, it's really every little thing I do. Bring divine consciousness to the smallest acts in your life, to every phone call. Even if you turn down a telemarketer, you can do it with a heart and a mind that is filled with love and filled with connection. Or you can do it in a rude and very human egotistical way. So now imagine, and here's where this comes to a conclusion as to what is happening in the world today. Imagine if my heart and your heart and the hearts of all these beautiful people that watch here and that connect with others begin glowing even stronger, begin sending out light even stronger, and maybe even sending this light directly out to the tools and instruments of this dark force, of this evil force that uses human beings like you and me to do its dirty bidding or do its dirty work or fight its wars. What if we, with our lights, can actually reach the soldiers and all the other people that are involved in this everywhere and actually create this change through that? There's a lot of questions, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different views. But one thing remains clear to me. It's only us that can change whatever is happening today on this beautiful earth and what is happening in this cosmic drama. It's not written in stone. It doesn't have an author that has pre-written the chapters. We're actually writing it every day. Now, tendencies become strong the more people tend to buy into them, and other tendencies become weaker the fewer people do this. We've talked about this many times. So it's all about intention, perspective, and context, isn't it? And the context and the perspective I mentioned in the description of this live stream, the perspective is so important because it allows you to see things from a new point of view. That's why conversations with people that have different opinions, different worldviews are very valuable. But if we just do that, we miss out on the context of someone's life. How did they get there? How were they brought up? What was their belief system? Why do they think this? You see? And that's what brings this cycle together. And then the third component in this is beyond perspective and context is, again, that this is a much, much bigger play. It's a cosmic drama. And humans and Earth are by no means the only ones. There's many other species and many other planets and beings in this cosmic play. So maybe this will allow you in the following days sometimes to get a little more lighthearted about things. And again, this is not to belittle human suffering. This is not to in some way justify violence or warfare. Not to the contrary, actually. It is to allow us to, even when we are confronted with these things, to remain in a more lightful place and to keep light in our hearts and to keep joy in our hearts and to even keep humor in our hearts. It is okay to laugh. It is okay to make jokes. It is okay to have fun. You're doing nobody a favor by suffering with them. This is never ever in the history of humanity, has it ever helped anyone to overcome anything if you suffer with them? Because then you've just taken as much energy from yourself as they have taken from themselves. So a lot of thoughts, dense thought processes here. And I want to leave it at that for today. Because this is something just to contemplate. Maybe it's something you've heard for the first time. Maybe it's something you were just reminded of. Maybe a light bulb went off, or maybe there's something you want to share with others. But I encourage you to walk with these thoughts. I encourage you to go out in nature, connect, and see what your place is in this cosmic drama. And understanding that I used to be on stage and play theater and stuff like that. And eventually I understood that every role, from the protagonist to the extra, is equally important, because one doesn't work without the other, ever. And so in this cosmic drama, sometimes we're the protagonist, sometimes we're the extra, sometimes we're both, and a lot of times we switch. This is kind of how it works. In this journey to truly finding this bigger part of us, this higher self that's so eternal, this has been our journey for many, many years. And now for many years, helping others to do that, to really connect to that higher self part, which is the real you. This physical you, as I said, is temporary. It will perish in time. Well, versus the real you will never perish. And when that is realized and actualized, your life begins to change in almost miraculous ways. So we're extending this invitation. As you can see, the Yado, the You Are the One retreat is happening in May. And in other words, this is going to be a part of this journey that we're taking there, going deep enough into a meditative journey to connect with this highest part of you. Because this highest part of you is your compass. It's not us. It's not any external person that should ever tell you what to do, where to go, and when to do it. It's this compass, this higher self that gives you this guidance. And that's what we want to connect with, because everything you desire to change in your life, all the wonderful things you desire to experience, they come when these components come together. These things come when you have real guidance again. These things come when you're really connected again, when you're really one with higher consciousness again. All of the other things fall into place. Over and over and over and over again, we've experienced this. So if you want to do this, if you feel inspired to join us for this beautiful retreat from May 5th through May 8th in Cape San Blas, Florida. By the way, Christine walked in, if you want to say hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
My unapologetically free wife. So if you want to join us from May 5th through May 8th in Cape San Blas, Florida for the Yado retreat, I believe there's a handful of spots left, honey. Handful, give or take. Yeah,
yes,
probably a handful.
Yeah.
A handful left. We're keeping this fairly small, personal, intimate. So if you feel inspired, send us an email to info@inspiredchannel.net, and we'll send you the information. Just put Yado in the subject line. YATO stands for You Are the One. And for those of you who've already signed up, they're already chatting in the dedicated Telegram group, and the excitement is.
Yeah, they are sharing rides and houses and whatnot. It's beautiful to see how people connect, even they don't know each other. So.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, the participants are sharing, housing and rides, as Christine just said. So far, I think we have someone coming from Canada. Yes. Driving down here.
Yeah, they drive down. Yeah.
So it's going to be really amazing.
Driving is possible, even without anything.
Yes, for those of you who worry about certificates and vaccination crap stuff, apparently you can drive from Canada. But please do your due diligence and check this out for yourself. But again, if you want to join us for this beautiful retreat from May 5th through May 8th, send us an email to info@inspiredchannel.net. Put Yado in the subject line, and we will let you know all about it. All right, Inspired Tribe, this is it from us. Please do remember to subscribe to Rumble. We are basically starting a new community, some new ways to interact and share content with you that are going to be exclusive in some ways, because a lot of the things we talk about these days simply cannot be shared on every platform anymore, but we won't stop talking about them. So there's going to be a dedicated space for that, and we're going to announce this very soon. But it will help if you're subscribed to our Rumble channel. That will make things easier in the transition. So, Tribe, thank you so much for being with us today. We truly and deeply appreciate you. We love you. We love your part in this cosmic play, the cosmic drama, and you matter. And I want to say this even more often than I have been, because people forget that. You might think, well, who am I? Little me. No, no, you matter. You are very, very important to all of us, important to the whole world, important to the cosmic play. Your part matters deeply. Please remember that. All right, tribe. We love you. We'll be here again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central, right here on the Inspired channel. Please come join us. Bring your friends, bring your family. All right. See you tomorrow.